And some breaking news this past few moments, and small boat migrant Fayez Khan, aged 26, has been found guilty at Southwark Crown Court of making a threat to kill Reform UK leader Nigel Farage in a TikTok post last year. Let's now speak with GB News' Home and Security Editor, Mark White. Mark, welcome to the show. What do we know about this individual beyond the fact he's an Afghan national? He made 10 attempts to get to the UK illegally. He's got an AK-47 tattooed on his face. He thought it was a funny thing to do, perhaps, to make a TikTok video making death threats towards a political leader, and the court didn't think it was funny, did they?
No, they didn't. No, he was quite the social media celebrity, which is why Nigel Farage picked up on his journey. He had lived for a number of years in Stockholm in Sweden, but had decided for whatever reason that he wanted to come to the UK and made his way to northern France, documenting his journey along that way. And it's really in seeing the documentation on TikTok of his journey that Nigel Farage picked up those videos, reposted them out with the commentary that here is an unknown fighting age male coming to the UK. Well, this man, Fayez Khan, aka Madapasa, which was his name on TikTok, responded to that in a very sinister way. This was October the 12th last year, responding to Nigel Farage and effectively making not even veiled threats, but direct threats towards Nigel Farage. Let's take a listen to the video that he posted that was a crucial part of the evidence that Southwark Crown Court heard.
Englishman, Nigel Pasa, don't talk about me. You not know me. I come to England because I want marriage with your sister. Don't talk about me more. Delete a video. This is not good, my friend. You not know me. I gonna come to England. I gonna mother Pasa, man. You know. This is Mother Pasa. Every country know me, Vamaya, Mother Pasa. I'm TikToker. I'm not gang. I'm not mafia. I'm mafia's papa, Pasa, man. Rais Mamtana. Hela wagon to London. Mother Pasa, man. All my video, my live, there's content. You know, Mother Pasa. First, you must see Vamaya, Mother Pasa.
So, Martin, he has not been sentenced as yet, but he could be sentenced conceivably for up to 10 years. That's very unlikely, though the sentence tends to really vary from between a community sentence up to about 7 years for this kind of crime. He said in his defence, look, that's just him. It's his shtick. That's his personality. He does this pop thing all of the time. But Nigel Farage, in the evidence he gave to Southwark Crown Court, said it was very chilling. And, you know, this was a man with an obsession about guns. He posted videos with guns before. He had this, of course, infamous AK-47 tattoo on his face. So clearly some real concern there, Martin.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
What was astonishing to me about this whole tawdry affair, Mark White, was that he actually said in court that making gun signals was part of his character as a means of defending himself. That's got to be one of the most stupid defence clauses I've ever heard, to make out that this is, it's just a part of my character, there's nothing in it. Next, of course, Mark White, the conversation will surely turn to this individual's fate. We know the deportation limit is 12 months. This could easily supersede that, as you say, and yet an Afghan national. We won't be able to return into Afghan, will we, Mark White? We're going to be in a sorry situation if we're not careful. Let's just be Mystic Meg for a moment here. This guy gets sent down for threatening to kill a political leader. We might be in a position where the human rights lawyers will keep him in Britain.
I think there is a very good chance that the legal team, unless he suddenly has some kind of desire to go back to Afghanistan, which I can't really see, then human rights lawyers will be in there going to bat for this man and saying, of course, that to return him to a country ruled by the Taliban would be a great danger to his personal safety. And I think it would be unlikely in those circumstances that any immigration judge is going to sanction that. So yes, we may be stuck with him at the end of the day, which is a concern. And I think the reason that Nigel Farage in the first place was highlighting this individual in the video with his fascination of guns and his AK-47 tattoo was to say that we just don't know who these people are that are entering the country. We don't know what potential risk they could pose. And we've seen it time and time again now in recent years of people who have come to the country as asylum seekers, as illegal immigrants, who have gone on to commit sometimes horrific crimes.
Well, Mark White, we must be grateful in some ways. At least somebody finally seems to have met justice for threatening Nigel Farage. Mark White, thank you very much, as ever, for joining us and bringing us up to speed on that breaking news story. Let's join my next guest now. It's the human rights lawyer, David Haigh. David, always a pleasure to have your company. I just want to pick up on that previous point, if I could, that I made there with Mark White. We have this ridiculous situation now where somebody who's threatened the life of a political leader, we probably can't return them to Afghanistan because it's not deemed a safe country. We'll have the same old question time and time again. Whose side is the law on if we can't deport people who are threatening to kill political leaders?
Good afternoon, Martin. I think the first thing to say is, it's good to see the jury's made the right decision here. I think, I've seen that video before, but even watching it just now again, and I've been involved in armed hostage crises. That is chilling to watch that video. So the jury's made a good decision. But as Mark White said, and having to bring up the Sentencing Council, which has been in the news recently, their guidelines are anything from effectively a community order, usually up to 7 years, but potentially 10. Now, so obviously that's the next thing that's going to happen. There's going to be a sentence passed on this. I won't use the word gentleman. And so that's the next stage. And that could but potentially mean that if it's at a certain level, a low level, that he could end up staying here and not being deported. And of course, if it is at a low level, or even, God forbid, a community sentence, that could mean he could be out relatively quickly. And at a time when, I think it was only a week ago that the government reduced Nigel Farage's public paid for protection. I think this is going to test Shabana Mahmood, particularly in the Home Office, very considerably now.
I think, David Haigh, we need to bring in here the broader rhetoric, and dare I say it, from political rivals of Nigel Farage, consistently referring to him as a Nazi, as a fascist, as a racist. These are words that even morons like Madapasa will understand. And if this individual is let out and he has a grievance, it sends a clear message out. Whose side is the law on?
Well, I mean, that's the problem that we've got. And I think what we're going to see in this case at the moment, and particularly if he gets a low sentence, the law is effectively on his side. And I think Mark White's right in saying that you are going to get people defending him and trying to keep him here and trying to say that, he is effectively the victim and not Nigel Farage. And I think that's very worrying. And as I mentioned before, I think I'd be very concerned for the safety of Nigel Farage with people like this individual making these type of threats, because they can incite others to do harm as well. I'd be very worried.
But David Haigh, I mean, he hasn't been sentenced yet, but in all of your experience, this surely meets the threshold of a custodial sentence, right?
I mean, it should. But at the end of the day, I think, I think probably if I was going to predict it, I would say a very low custodial sentence. I hope I'm wrong. I think it should be a lot more. I think it should be, towards the maximum because of the content of that video and the intent, I think. But I would suspect it might be to the lower side. And I would suspect, like Mark White said, there will be a battle to keep him in this country.
And isn't that just an astonishing indictment on the British legal system? Somebody comes to the country illegally, having made 10 previous failed attempts. They are found guilty of threatening to kill a political leader. They might get a slap on the wrist. It might be non-custodial. And then we won't be able to get him out of the country because Afghanistan isn't deemed safe and the British taxpayer will pick up the bill. David Haigh, I put it to you, this case crystallises everything that's wrong about the British legal system at the present.
Absolutely. I think it doesn't. Like I said, I think this is a real problem for Shabana Mahmood because it highlights all the significant issues that are causing problems here at the moment. You've got obviously Nigel Farage involved. You've got the inability to deport, and we will see that. He's from Afghanistan. There is no way they're going to be able to deport him to Afghanistan. That will be easily defended in the current laws. He'll probably get a low sentence. And of course, he's impacted the human rights of Nigel Farage as well. So you've got lots and lots of all the issues that are relevant in this one case. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how it progresses. But like I said, I don't think he's going anywhere.
David Haigh, I fear you're right. I really do. Thank you for your expertise. Thanks for coming on GB News. As ever, my friend, thank you very much for your contribution.